Hey, I'm Alex from AmericanMuscle.com, and today I'm bringing you my detailed review and breakdown of the McLeod twin disc clutch with flywheel rated at over 800 horsepower, fitting your 2007 through 2009 GT500. So in this video, I'm going to give a quick review of who this might appeal to, what you should be expecting in terms of performance, what you should be expected to pay, and then we're going to take a look at the installation. But right off the bat, you're going to be looking at a pretty solid 3 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter and about a 3 to 5 hour job to get this onto your car. So if you're the GT500 owner that's starting to modify your car with some simple stuff, kind of like a cold air intake and a tuner, but you're starting to look down the road by means of maybe a smaller pulley, throttle body, maybe a set of long tube headers, it might be a good idea to start looking into replacing your clutch, as it's not a matter of if, but when it's going to start to shred itself. Alright guys, so right off the bat, I do want to mention, while this is going to be a stage 3 equivalent clutch, this is going to be more than enough if you're looking to replace your factory unit with this, as you're going to have a ton of room to grow into this. Considering that the GT500s make power so easily, it's definitely a good idea to get into something that's going to be able to support more power than you're even aiming for. So as we all know, the GT500s are definitely a pretty aggressive and visceral drive. Having personally driven quite a few of them, I could definitely attest to the drivability or lack thereof with them. So by getting into a clutch like this, you're going to be saving yourself the hassle of getting stranded on the side of the road and needing to pick up a tow. So aside from this, the early GT500s definitely had their fair share of drivability issues, and some of the greatest hits here are going to include excessive chatter, difficulty getting into gear, and I don't mean bouncing off the rev limiter in between first and second or jamming it from second to third, but actually it being physically tough to get it into first gear or even a reverse. And last but not least, if you've owned your 07 through 09 GT500 for quite a while, you'll probably know about the hissing. So the 07 through 09 GT500 is definitely a personal favorite of mine to drive, but for some folks getting around in bumper-to-bumper traffic, the engagement can be a little bit on the tricky side, if not a little bit tough. Now, at the end of the day, that's the last thing that we want to hear anyone having to do, as you're supposed to drive this car like you stole it, as well as enjoy it at the same time. So if this sounds a little bit like you, and you're starting to see that after a few mods, the enjoyment just isn't there like it used to be, it'd definitely be a great idea to start looking into an aftermarket clutch, which is why we're going to have this twin disc RST from McLeod here today for you. So from personal experience, I definitely love to drive these cars, as they're going to have a little bit more of a connected feeling, and that's just my personal preference on what I think, but the stock clutch alone has a little bit of a tendency to even slip as well as disengage out of gear. Now, this is especially going to be that much more prevalent, especially when you're going to start throwing a little bit more boost or even some basic modifications to it. So while the McLeod unit in front of us today is going to be rated at around 800 horsepower, the thing that I want you guys to take away from this video is going to be that the driving dynamics are that much more improved over the stock clutch and flywheel setup on the GT500. I put a slew of miles on not only an 05 through 09 with this exact unit equipped, but our Shop 13 and 14 GT500, and it's so light that you're honestly going to forget what you're driving. So one of the things that I definitely want people to take away from watching this video is that this clutch is not going to be anything like a full face or a pug setup, which essentially means that the clutch is either going to be engaged or disengaged or on or off, for lack of a better term. Now that ultimately is going to make you hate driving your car on your daily commute or even just ripping it around at the track. Again, the drivability here is going to be the key selling point in my opinion, as this is going to be one of the lighter units out there. So again, the driving dynamics here is hands down going to be one of the best selling points about this unit, as if you're familiar with how your GT500 drives, you're probably pretty aware of just how finicky the clutch can be. Now again, that's going to be for some guys. Again, I personally like how it feels just because it's going to be a little bit more connected, but with this unit you should expect to have a much more improved feel, as well as a lighter engagement, as well as eating away at some of that chatter. So diving into the construction here, we're going to see that this is going to be rated up to about an 800 horsepower setup, but again, you don't need to have an upgraded blower, you don't need to be running a smaller pulley and throttle body and a tune instead of long tubes. You can honestly put this in your stock GT500 as a great replacement unit, as well as having something that's going to give you the ability to grow into it when it comes time to start modding your car. So this is also going to feature organic-faced twin solid hub friction discs, as well as the pilot tool, as well as the floater plate. So you're essentially going to have everything here to get this installed, except for the labor to do it. So a couple other things I do want to add here is that with the twin disc setup, that's going to be that much more tough than what you're going to find in stock form on your GT500. While the car came with a solid 540 horsepower from the factory, it's got a tendency to eat through drive light components really quickly, especially when you're going to throw some modifications at it, like a cold air intake, maybe a smaller pulley, as well as a tuner. Now another thing I do want to add here is that if you're going to be doing this job, it's a really great idea to replace your pilot bearing as well as your throwout bearing, as there's really no reason why you shouldn't be doing it, because everything's going to be removed out of the car. So in terms of pricing here, guys, you should expect to be spending right around $1,100 for this setup, which in my opinion is definitely going to be pretty aggressively priced, as GT500 parts do have a tendency to cost a little bit more than other Mustang parts. Again, you're going to be getting a clutch and flywheel setup here all in one unit. It's going to be rated at upwards of 800 horsepower. Not only is it going to be able to accommodate boatloads of power, but with the improved driving dynamics and feel, it's ultimately going to make you a much happier owner as well as a more confident driver on the road. So taking a look at the installation here, guys, just like I had said in the beginning of the video, you're going to be looking at a pretty tough 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and about a 3 to 5 hour job to get this onto your Shelby. So I do want to add, if you've already pulled the clutch before on a Mustang, you're probably not going to run into any trouble, but if this is going to be your first clutch job, I might even take a look into having somebody install this for you off-site just to be on the safe side. But if you are going to tackle this, it's definitely a good idea to get a couple extra sets of hands around, especially having somebody there that's actually pulled a clutch from their GT500 before, just to be on the safe side. Additionally, if you have access to a lift, it's going to make your life that much more easier getting this into your car. So again, if this is something that's not really going to be in your wheelhouse and you're just not comfortable doing it, there's no problem with that. This is a pretty in-depth and very detailed install, and there's absolutely no trouble with having a shop do it off-site. And at the end of the day, it might even make you feel that much safer knowing that you're not going to run into any issues after the install. So when I say that the install is pretty labor intensive, I definitely mean it as you're going to need to drop your trans out by way of pulling your exhaust off. After that, you're going to need to remove your drive shaft and then get into your bell housing and take that off and then essentially replace it with this unit. Now don't get me wrong, while I know it's easier said than done, it's fairly straightforward if you're going to be following the instructions. There's a ton of videos out there about guys that have done this in their own garage, but again, you're looking at a solid 3 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter and about a 3 to 5 hour job to get this onto your Mustang. Alright guys, just to wrap things up here, some final thoughts. I definitely like this unit from McLeod based on a couple reasons here. First and foremost, this is going to be able to accommodate upwards of 800 horsepower, as this is a twin disc setup that's going to come equipped with a flywheel as well. Secondly, the drivability. This is going to be hands down one of the best selling points for this unit. If you're not too into how your stock GT500 drives and it's a little bit of a leg workout for you, this might be for you. Not only that, it's going to give you a ton of room to grow in terms of power. So if you're going to be throwing a colder intake and a tuner, maybe get into a throttle body and a smaller pulley, and then do a full exhaust system, you're going to have a great system here that's going to be able to handle all that extra power. So that's my review and breakdown of the McLeod RST twin disc clutch with flywheel rated at 800 horsepower, fitting your 2007 through 2009 Shelby GT500, available right here at AmericanMuscle.com.